Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. This is my third installment of why travel trailers, RVs, mobile homes, manufactured homes, usually they don't work well for MCS people. Some people it does, some people it doesn't. We talked in our other videos about condensation. It's a natural process that a lot of mobile homes and manufactured homes go through. A lot of A-frame houses, they don't have that issue. You can go in a 1940s farmhouse and you can peel back the sheetrock. If it's well ventilated, it's not had a leak, the wood will be dry, everything will be dry, and there'll be very little wood rot or damage. My grandmother, she owns it's a house from the 60s and it was redone about 20 years ago. And when they peeled back the paneling, the wood looked brand new, not a speck of mold on it at all whatsoever. Not a speck of mold on any of the old insulation. They replaced it. It's A-frame. You can't beat A-frame house ventilation, stick built. I'm back here in the camper for this third installment, and it's a very nice travel trailer, but in my other videos I may have told you that it does affect my MCAS, not the chemical part, because it's well off-gassed. Even the cabinets don't have really any odor or any of that going on, but I want to show you what goes on behind the walls of these trailers, and you don't see it. The trailer looks basically brand new from the inside, other than where I covered up a little bit of water damage, but the floors, the floors look brand new. The cabinets, it's not even any wear at all on the cabinets. You look inside the cabinets, it's no water leaks. It's no water leaks at all whatsoever. The camper was garage kept for years, but just because of the process of heating up and cooling down, that causes your condensation, a lot of these things. So I'm going to put my mask on. I want to show you what goes on behind these walls over time, and it's not due to leaks, just regular old condensation, because flat roof homes and mobile homes, a lot of the older ones that had the flat roofs, they relied on encapsulation, so they're sealed up airtight, and that doesn't allow them to breathe, and the water has nowhere to go, and they build up in the walls, and it starts the process of wood rot and mold. And in that process of that wood rot and mold, that's where you get the symptoms from a lot of your mast cell patients. Some of the mast cell patients is not sensitive to mold. However, a lot of them is. I just so happen to be sensitive to mold and fungus. Wood rot. What wood rot is, I used to think it was a natural process. It is not a natural process. It's actually the process of other living organisms breaking down the wood. Kind of like if you go to a forest and you look at a log and you see the log decaying. The weather didn't do that. It's the fungus breaking it down. That's why you see the little the fungus and stuff growing on the log, because it's feeding off of that. The moisture. It takes two things to grow mold. It takes, or fungus, same class, same family. It takes two things: water, and it takes a food source. Wood, your food source, or insulation, whatever, and your other food source would be your water. That you have to have those two things. Remember, wet clothes left in the dryer will must, because the natural molds in the air is enough to culture the blankets or shirts or whatever you got in the dryer. You leave it in there too long and got moisture, you get must. That's how fast these things, mold and must even though you don't smell it, it's a tiny, tiny amount, enough to make you sick. And a lot of these, if they got any age on them at all, I know one gentleman, he had to trade new campers every 2 years because of the little bit of condensation that would form in the walls, causing the fungus or the mold. But here's something that I wanted to show you. This is toward the back bump, and I'm gonna put my respirator on so that way I'm not breathing this in, because I've been deathly ill for 2 years, and I'm going to share some more about my stories. But I want you to look at this. That right there, my friends, is just some regular old condensation. No leaks at all whatsoever. And looking at this wallpaper, and how new these ceilings are, you never would have guessed it in a million years. Now, the camper is 15 years old. You look, the wallpaper looks brand new. You never would have knew that from behind the walls. But again, just regular old condensation. I figured I would share these tips. That way, if you're an MCS person or MCS person, if you are sensitive to mold and you do okay with VOCs, you might be okay. If you just have MCS and you don't have MCAS, but if you're a mold sufferer or an MCS person, you might not do good in a travel trailer or manufactured housing at all, because that's what, when you walk in, you smell that stale air, and that's because it's no ventilation in these things. They're encapsulated. That's what they're made to do. They go down the road. You don't want any rain or water or anything like that. But if you take a house, an A-frame house, again, that pitch and those vents, that's what keeps your condensation from forming, and your wood never gets wet, unless it's not ventilated properly. If the builder really knows what they're doing, and that's pretty much the best way to go. But the problem with a lot of us MCS people and MCS people, my MCS is from MCAS, we're homeless, and I hadn't worked 2 years due to my condition, and 99% of us, we don't have the money to go out and buy a frame house. So a lot of us would buy an RV, or buy a camper, or buy a motorhome. It don't work. So I just looking out for y'all, and I hope these tips help you, and God bless. Have a great one.